Hey, Coach, so excited you found us on YouTube. Couple things. First of all, go subscribe. We put a new video out every day. Not everyone will be the one you want, but it will give you a notification. Hit that little bell. Second thing is go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. Videos, resources, mentoring, office hours, one-on-one calls, you name it. We've got it. Let us help give you some banners and put them in your gym. Let me help you do that. Go over and check it out, teachhoops.com. Let's head off to the video.
All right, welcome to Coaching Youth Hoops, episode 84. Coach is crazy enough to convince me to do this twice a week. He doesn't understand I have like 7 other podcasts and want to stay married.
It's basketball season though, right? So we gotta step it up.
That's valid. That's valid.
Well,
So
I said that to somebody the other day. It's basketball season. They're like, "When are you not in season?" So
good point.
right.
All right. So today's topic: your best coaching advice.
I reached out to our Facebook group members and a few other coaches, and I did it kind of maybe selfishly too because I wanted to learn what is some of these veterans that have been coaching a lot longer than me. What do you have? What's your best advice that you got? And I had some good gems that I'm gonna share with you. And one coach challenged me, so I'm going to challenge Coach too. This is live. We're doing it live. To come up with, he told me 6 words. I'll give you 3 since it's so you get some time to think about it. 3 words that describe you as a coach, right? So his was back to me, gave me some advice, and then said, "What are 6 words that describe you as a coach?" So I'll share.
That's easy. At the end. That's easy. Intensity, passionate. I want to say loving, but I don't think it's loving. I think it's more
nurturing,
caring, some word along. I'd have to put a little bit more thought into it. The boys know I care. I'm also hard on them. It's similar to my son. My son knows I love him, but sometimes I gotta put him back. So I think that would be the 3rd word. And that's probably the one I've gotten better at over time. I think when I was younger, it was more about tough, but I was also looked like I was 12 when I was 30. So
you had something to prove, right?
So I had to what my program was. I had to come in and reestablish culture.
Right.
To be no, we practice on Saturdays. What are you talking about? We don't practice on Saturdays. No, we practice those kind of things. So, I'm a little bit of an energizer bunny, so I would think energetic, and then, like you and I, it's like I'm not worried about retirement because I'll still be doing basketball probably.
Yeah, exactly.
My last breath. So yeah. When you and I are sitting at a lake in northern Wisconsin when it's like 85 and talking basketball for 3 hours.
Actually, we need to do that. We need to go fishing and talk basketball sometime.
We'll do that next year. We'll do that. We'll do that rather than go to the coffee shop and master the world. Yeah. Maybe I'll have the lake figured out by then. What did you come up with for coaching advice? I have some advice that people have given me.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, we'll talk about that. Well, since you were talking about your words, I said I was going to wait. I'll say mine right now. It spells out mentor. So I know. This is me. I got everything. Mentor, right?
Steve, everything. What are you gonna? Can you come up with a? That's your job for next time. Is Steve? Come up with Steve. What's my acronym? What does S stand for?
Well, I do.
Stubborn. It would probably be stubborn if you're going to go with Steve. But anyway, go ahead.
Well, it's if you think it's 3 and 3, right? We always talk about the rule of 3, right? So 1 is motivator, 2 or M is motivator, E energetic, N nurturing, T teacher, O optimistic, and R restrained. So I read this to my team the other day, and I said, because I was really moved by the coach who asked me this to come up with the 6 words. And, it was tough. It wasn't tough coming up with the words. It was coming up with the right word though. And I read it out loud to them. I'm like, what do you guys think? Is this me? And they're like, oh, you nailed it. They were like, oh my gosh, coach. Yes, that's totally you. So I'm glad I got it. I got it right. So that mentor, it spells mentor. There we go.
You know what I'm gonna do with I haven't told you this. I'm gonna do with my varsity team this year around Christmas time after we've played maybe 5 or 6 games. And I did this pre-COVID. I'm gonna have an impersonate Coach Collins day where they get in front of the whiteboard and they impersonate me. I have never seen teams laugh so because they kind of get we all have mannerisms like halftime, and I cannot believe it will be. I'm gonna tape it because it's always and show it at the end of the year because the parents love that, and it's true. It's like because we all have those mannerisms at halftime or practice or so I'm gonna do that anyway. Side note. So I'm gonna tell you some
advice.
Yeah, some advice. So advice people have given me. So my former coach, when I took my first job, he gave me a couple things. He first said, first of all, find really good mentors or people that can help, and it doesn't have to necessarily be in your sport, which was the big one for me because Memorial was a hockey school and a baseball. It was a kind of not a basketball. So I talked to some of them, and they gave me some great advice. So that was one thing. Find some mentors. The second thing is, and I'm not sure this is great advice, but he said, keep your circle close. Keep your coaches close. And I never understood what he meant by it. And it took me a while, but especially for, it's like, you got to keep the people that you're, especially if you're a youth coach, your assistant coach you need to be on the same page is what I'm basically saying. And those are the people you're going to spend the most time with. So those were two big parts. And one that, my college coach told me is he says, always keep learning and always keep reading. Obviously I'm in my library. And when we started coaching, there was a lot more reading. As far as finding stuff, there was a lot more books. I mean, I have basketball books up the gazoo back here some of them are probably collectors now. But it was about, you had to find a book because, even VHS tapes early in my career were hard to come by. So you had to buy books, you had to buy handouts. I mean, Friday night date nights with my wife at Borders, I was in the basketball section and she was in I don't know, the Danielle Steele's, I don't know what section she was in because it wasn't the same one. But keep learning, I think would be the current one as far as that goes.
Growth mindset, that is, right? Yeah. So that's right on. Well, okay, I want to dig into some of the words of wisdom we've got from some pretty experienced coaches. Some of the coaches that have been talked about, 25 years plus coaching experience. One guy started coaching before I was even alive, he's coaching for 50 plus.
Well, you're only 12, coach, aren't you? Are you 22?
Yeah, there we go. I wish. All right, this first one, which I really like this one because I think we lose sight of this. This comes from Sherry Bowman, 25-year veteran coach. Every athlete has talent. You just have to find their starting point and help them grow from there. Thought, okay, I like that, because she's right on, right? And then what's the runway you have, right? Too, and right, but they all have their talents. You just got to find it. Coach Willie Bong, I think he's from Minnesota. What's this one? First thing that comes to mind, he said, is when I was a young coach, I think we've all been here, and a control freak trying to run 100 plays to show how smart I was. I had another coach tell me, would you rather have better plays or better players? And he says that's always stuck with him to focus on player development first, not plays, especially with.
I love that.
Yeah,
That's higher level for a youth coach. I love that.
Yeah. But yeah. Michael Morris, Coach Michael Morris. Don't assume this is this is one that I just realized too. That I mean not realized, knew it, but just it's really been showing up at the youth level. Don't assume they know. Explain every detail. Even pro players can lack coaching fundamentals. He was telling a story about how some of NFL players were asking their coaches some basic fundamental questions about stuff they should have been taught and learned a long time ago. And so what I
that's
did
from a teacher, assume no base knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
Because even if they know it, the review of you going over it is okay. Like I did some stuff in class today. I would say by just looking in their eyes and knowing probably a third of them knew what I was talking about the first 10 minutes, but that's okay because I was just it was just going over it again. It was just that's okay. But the other 2/3 had no idea. You could just tell it in their faces. It's like, oh crud, what's he talking about? So I had to so don't assume base knowledge. Don't assume they know, how to rebound, how to set a screen, how to come off a screen, how to pivot, how to like any of those things. I think that's great advice.
Yeah, it's great advice. And the way to put that to practice is have a common vocabulary with your team. So if there's certain things that you always talk about, certain offenses, defenses, etc., have that common vocabulary with them, share that with them, and then also encourage and support the questions. Kids are afraid because they don't want to be embarrassed. Like I had a player the other day ask, she was an 8th grader, what's the 3-man weave? Well, I'd never run the 3-man weave. That was the first time I ran the 3-man. I know you do in some of your drills, but I never run it. But I assumed everybody knew it by the time they get to 8th grade. She didn't even know what it was, and she was brave enough to raise her hand and ask what it was. So, and we support that, and we gave her 2 claps and explained what the 3-man weave was. So beautiful.
Yeah, I think it is. All right, anything else, Coach?
Let me read a couple. Yeah, I think that let me read a couple more, and we'll hurry up here. I know we've talked kind of long, but next one was be yourself. This is from Jordan Mast. Be yourself, which I think is important. I got that same advice from the football coach at the high school I was at. He told me because he was there. He's one of the winningest football coaches in the United States, and I just happened to be coaching at the same high school he was at. Ran into him in the hallway. And that was his coaching advice. Be yourself. Keep it simple. Don't overload them. You're big on this one, especially your high school coaches. More of that. It's cut practice time as the season goes on.
Yeah, I'm not sure you need to do that at the youth level, but
yeah.
Because you don't
and
you only have 37 minutes anyway. You only have 37 minutes of practice
and a half
anyway.
court, right?
And a half court with 1 basket. So I don't know if that has to be the case.
Yeah.
All right, Coach. Anything else?
No, I just think great advice, a lot of tips I think youth coaches can borrow, and
yes. Let us know if you have any advice or you want. I mean, we can always come back to this. And I know you talked about vocabulary. I think that's a good podcast maybe for the future at some point. Talk about some vocabulary things and some things that coaches can do. But you can always reach out to both of us. We'll put our contact information down below. And till next week, Coach.
All right, till next week.
Yep.
Hey, Coach. So glad you enjoyed that video. Hope you did, at least. Let me know how I can help. Join teachhoops.com. I've been through it all. I've won championships, got a lot of rings. Let me know how I can help you become a better basketball coach, too.